Aaron, your son's doing fine.
Yeah, he's all right. I heard he had a pillow fiasco. I heard.
I don't know if he needed a pillow, so he came for a pillow. My wife gave him a pillow.
I packed those pillows myself. They even had pillowcases on them. I don't know how he lost his pillows. But Miriam,
I don't think I ever packed anything for my kids for any camp ever.
Okay.
There you go.
Taka, Miriam told Brookie that your bungalow is right near his bunk.
Yeah, Mamish, like 50 feet.
Get out. I'm sorry about that.
I told him, go right in. I said, we have a fridge stocked with soda, drinks. Go right in and take whatever you want, whenever you want.
How many kids do you have in camp?
I have 3 there. If they're going to my kids in camp is a chiddush. So let's see how long they last.
What ages?
One is in your simchas, minus my simcha and your simcha in the same bunk.
The same bunk?
They're not sleeping. My simcha's not sleeping there, but
I didn't realize that. You have a 4th grader?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't count that. Oh, very nice.
Oh, he's going into 5th.
Oh, my sibling is going into 5th also.
Yeah.
And I have a nephew there also.
Right. Yes, I was trying to figure out who that was.
That's Rivki's kid, Nachman. He's going into 6th. He's 1 month older.
Here.
Did you see that little Brazil boy?
Sure, he came over a couple times.
You saw him? He's a dead ringer, man, for Dovi and Yankee, boy.
Yeah.
I saw Khani today by the bus. I said, whoa.
And then the Josh Tomaszewski.
Tomaszewski's got a kid also. Yeah.
3 kids. He's got 3 kids.
I know. I saw them
too. Yeah.
Very nice parent body. I was very, very happy by the bus.
Yeah.
Yosef's working hard, huh?
Yeah, working hard. They're supposed to be having fireworks tonight.
Oof. Your kids are not going to want to leave. That's going to be a problem.
It's not a problem. Not a problem.
You'll end up just staying in that bungalow.
That's what I'm here. I escaped camp to come here. Anyways, all right. Let's go. We gave the Olam enough time. Okay, these next couple of blot have some loaded Gemaras. Okay, we're not starting the new parak. We didn't want to start the new parak without parrots live.
My mouth is full.
It's okay. We're not worried about you asking questions, parrots.
Yaakov, is this that? Are we doing a blot and a half tonight?
I don't know. It's going to be
it's
lot.
It's not. I last night I didn't know where we would get up to, so I did up to it's a tough Amud. That first Amud.
Yeah, I wanted to. Yeah, this first Amud right now is tough, but it's not so bad. But the next, tomorrow's blot's going to be hard to accomplish. We might have to start a little earlier. It's a lot of Aganat, very easy.
All right.
Okay, so let's see. So it's up to. Yes, it's the Mishnah. Yeah, Yom Kippur. Finally, we get to Mamash to Yom Kippur. Yeah, Yom Kippur assur ba'achila, u'b'shasiya, u'b'rechitza, u'b'sicha, v'nilas asana. So you're not allowed to eat, drink, wash, anoint, which is shmir, u'b'nilas asana. Yeah. U'b'tasha shamita and relations. V'amelech v'akala yirchatzu is the name, and the melech and the kala are allowed to wash their faces, right? Because a melech are covered in a melech, and a kala within 30 days, right? That's what Rashi says. It's 30 days. She's called a kala. V'achaya, and somebody who just gave birth, tinolas the sandal, she could wear shoes, which Rashi says the reason is because a cold floor can damage her. Dear Rebbe Eliezer, that's Rebbe Eliezer also. Chachamim say it's assur. Right? So there's a big machlokes. The Chachamim assering all 3 cases or just the last case? Meaning, do they disagree by the king and the kala and the chaya, or just disagreeing with the chaya? Okay. Somebody eats kikaseves hagasa, like a fat date, or the equivalent of it, ukigarinisa, and with its pit. Yeah, that's what's gonna make you chayiv, right? So that's a very large measurement. It's much more. Normally we say an achila is a kezayis, right? Normally an achila is a kezayis. So why is it? So why is this more? Because this is not about oichel, it's about satisfying yourself. So anything less than a kasevis is not going. You're not going to have satisfaction from it, and therefore that's going to be part of. It's going to keep your Yom Kippur, the inui, the pain of Yom Kippur going.
What's the shear? What's the shear
Yeah.
for V'achalta v'savata to make a bracha achrona?
Is kizayas.
So why isn't that v'savata also?
No, it's
or
not.
this is a special level of ino.
Well, the truth is no. You're right. The truth is the savata midiraisa is till you're full.
Is it even more than this? Right?
Yeah, way more than this. Midiraisa, birchas hamazon midiraisa is only if you're full. Right?
And that's why Hashem loves us, because we bench even if we're not full, we just have a little bit of the share.
Yeah. Right. So that's a derabanan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fine. But that's the shear for achila. And if you drink the size of a cheekful, then you're chayiv. Right? A cheekful is the size of a cheek, so that's a subjective measurement. Yeah, which the Gemara will discuss all these measurements. And kol ha'ochlim mitzvah from the kikuseves, v'chol ha'mashkim mitzvah from the malay lugma. All food combines to kikuseves, meaning if you have a carrot and a potato and a piece of cake, all of them will combine, and any drinks will combine too. Right? Va'ochel v'ashaisa ein mitzvah from. This is one of the classic shilos that gets asked when somebody has a heter to drink shiurim on Yom Kippur. Is oichel and shaisa do not combine. They look at you like you're crazy. It's a beferish mishnah. You tell them that you could have every 9 minutes, let's say, some water and some food, two separate shiurim because they don't combine. Right, which we'll get more into that. So the Gemara says assur. It says assur, meaning Yom Kippurim assur. Anish chorus who? It's an anish chorus. Right? It's not. Why are you calling it assur? Assur sounds like you're not allowed to do it. It's an anish chorus. So Amar Rav Eila v'Item Rav Yirmiyah lo nitzrucha ela lachatzi shir. We need it for a chatzi shir to tell you that even a chatzi shir is assur. Meaning when the Mishnah says assur, it's even a chatzi shir. Meaning, so you might get wise and say, okay, so if the only assur on Yom Kippur is to eat the size of a fat date, so let me eat a half a date and I'm fine. That's an easy way to get through Yom Kippur. So, right, so we're saying no. The Mishnah is saying chatzi shir is assur, which is really bad for us, because if chatzi shir was mutter, then there would be no problem on Yom Kippur. Just drink and eat a little bit here and there. Right? Now, the reason why we tell people to do chatzi shir when they're not well is because it's still, there's no einish chorus. It's taka assur, but there's no einish chorus. So we would much rather somebody do an isser that's just chorus, that's just a lav, if it is even a lav, or something that's just assur, but not that's before we're going to make them be chayiv chorus. Yeah, fine. So then the Gemara says, "Hani chulaman damar chatzi shir also min haTorah." So this all works according to the one that says chatzi shir is also min haTorah. Elamad damar chatzi shir muter min haTorah. But the opinion that says that chatzi shir is really muter min haTorah and midirabanan, it's also ma'ikala meimar. So what are you going to say? The itmar, because we learned chatzi shir. Rabbi Yochanan amar also min haTorah. Machlokes amar muter min haTorah. Rabbi Yochanan says it's also. And Reish Lakish says it's mutter. Right? So, Hani Chol Rabbi Yochanan. That's good. So the Mishnah makes sense according to Rabbi Yochanan. Right? El Reish Lakish Ma'ikal Meimar. But according to Reish Lakish, the Mishnah is fakir, because our Mishnah is saying that it's also min haTorah, and Reish Lakish holds it's not also min haTorah. So Gemara answers, "My Reish Lakish also midirabanan." No, because Reish Lakish says it's still also midirabanan. Chatzi shir is still also midirabanan, not min haTorah. L'maisa we paskin that chatzi shir is also min haTorah. That's why if it would be mutter min haTorah, it would be a whole lot easier to be matter people to eat shiurim on Yom Kippur. The reason why we have a hard time with it is because chatzi shir is also min haTorah, which is that's the way we paskin. So Gemara says, if that's the case, So we're going to ask a kasha now on Rish Lakish. You shouldn't be chayav a korban shvua if somebody eats less than a shear. So we need a little bit of background here. So somebody makes a shvua that he's not going to eat a certain food, and then he eats it. So he's over on a shvua, right? He has to bring a korban if he did it by mistake. But what happens if he makes a shvua that he's not going to eat treif? Right? So now, does that shvua work? You can't make a shvua on something that's already assur min Torah anyways. Right? You shouldn't be chayav a korban shvua on it. Now this is interesting because it says alma. It should be alama with a hey. That's normally the way we do this. Alma usually means you see. That's not what it means here. He said alama tnan. Why do we learn shvua shalai eichel? If somebody made a shvua that he's not going to eat, va'achal nevelos u'treifes shkatzim ramasim, and then he ate. I'm sorry, shvua shalai eichel. He's not going to eat, right? Va'achal, and then he ate, meaning he ate. One second. He made a shvua that he's not going to eat. Va'achal nevelos treifes shkatzim ramasim, and then he ate treif. Chayev, he's chayev, right? Reb Shimon says it's potter, right? Meaning, why? Why is he potter? Because you can't make a shvua. You can't make a shvua on something that's already assur min Torah, right? So therefore, he's going to be chayev because of eating treif. He's not going to be chayev from a shvua. And they were discussing, am I chayev, right? Why is he chayev? According to the Tanakh, why is he chayev? Mushbu, I mean, we are Sinai. He's mushba from Har Sinai. How could he be chayiv to bring a korban shvua? He's not allowed to eat it already from Har Sinai. So Rav Shmuel, Rav Yochanan, the Amri. So Rav Shmuel and Rav Yochanan say b'koilo dvarim hamutarim and dvarim assur. What he's doing is he's including dvarim hamutarim with dvarim assur. Meaning he made a shvua that he's not going to eat cholent and treif. Right. So therefore, since the assur is chal on the stuff that's mutter, on the food that's mutter, it's gonna get grandfathered into the stuff that's assur. Rish Lakish says, Ella. Rish Lakish says, no, the only way you're gonna find the case is b'mefarish chatzi shir, where he says beferish that he's not even gonna have a half of a shir of achila, let's say half a kizayis. It's going according to Rabbanon, who hold that when somebody makes a shvua, he means only a kizayis worth, but not less than a kizayis worth, right? So that's one way of coming up with the way you can make a shvua. Again, normal shvua according to Rabbanon, that not to eat is only for a kizayis. Less than a kizayis is no problem, right? But if he makes a shvua that he's not going to eat a chatzi shir, then the shvua is going to be chal, because the chatzi shir is mutter min Torah, which is where the kasha is going to come from. Or another way to learn it is bistam, or if he stam said he's not going to eat it, v'aliba de Rebbe Kiva. And it's going according to Rebbe Kiva. Now we're on Talmud Aleph. V'aliba de Rebbe Kiva. It's going according to Rebbe Kiva. The Amar Adam Oiser Atzmi b'Cholshu. A person, when he says he's not going to eat something, he's not going to eat means a kolshu. Yeah. So now what do we say? So Reish Lakish said that really it's also midirabanan. But if it's so here, how can you say in his first teretz that, well, his first teretz according to Chachamim, that if the guy makes a shvua even on a chatzi shir, so then the shvua works because the chatzi shir is mutter. How can the shvua work? It's also in midirabanan. Granted, it's not also from the Torah, but how can a person make a chatzi shir, make a shvua on a chatzi shir, right? It's still assur. So it must be the Rish Lakish holds that it's mutter, even midirabanan. So then you might say, okay, there's a difference between derais and rabbanon. V'chitei kiven to islay. Heter min Torah. Since l'maisa there's a heter min Torah, kochayil korban shvua, then that's going to be chalin in a korban shvua. Meaning, when can't a person make a shvua on something that's already assur to him, like treif? That's only if he I'm sorry, what was I saying? I totally spaced out. When does a person When is a person not going to be chayav for a shvua? That's when he makes a shvua on something that's already awesome in a Torah. So you can't make a shvua that you're not going to eat something that's already awesome. Right? So Rish Lakish had said, so therefore the eitzah is, let him make a shvua on, we're not looking for him to be over, but the case would be that make a shvua where it's less than, he's making a shvua that he's not going to eat a chatzi shir, and therefore, that's chatzi shir's mutam in a Torah. So it's saying, so you see that Rish Lakish holds a mutam in a Torah, it's not even awesome midirabanan. So we want to say, no, maybe for a dirabanan, it would be chal, because midiraisa, it's mutter to him, right? Since it's really mutter in a Torah, you would be chayav a korban shvua. But tanan shvuas ha'edus einan heges el beruyin lahayit. The shvua of the edus is only noyig when you're roy to say edus. Meaning shvuas edus is if somebody knew edus, right? And they lied and they said they didn't have any, they had no way of saying edus, right? And then they ended up knowing the edus. So the Gemara says, so then they chayav a shvuas edus. So it's saying, but a shvuas edus is only noyig in somebody we would accept his testimony. If we wouldn't accept his edus, then his shvuas we're not going to be requiring a shvuas edus. Meaning, let's say a guy that says it's passuk edus. So we say to him, hey, by the way, you have any information on this guy? We need you to say this. He swears that he didn't know information, and then we find that he didn't know information. We wouldn't have accepted his testimony anyways because he was passuk edus. So why should he be chayav? Right? We weren't going to take his testimony anyways. Right? So that's what the Gemara is saying. Shvuas edus einan heges ela beruyin lahayit. Only with people that are right to say edus b'avinam ba. And they asked, "Lemuute mai, what is that coming to exclude?" So Papa Amar lemuute melech. It's coming to exclude a king. A king in Sanhedrin, the Gemara says that a king you can't say edus on him, and he doesn't say edus either, because it's a pekam for him to have to say edus. It's below his dignity. And Ravacha bar Yaakov Amar lemuute mesacha bekuvya comes to exclude somebody who gambles. Somebody who gambles is passuk edus, right? But the somebody who gambles midiraisa, he's not a ganav. The reason why Masachet Bekuvya which is gambling, literally means playing with squares, right? And the reason why it's chayev Masachet Bekuvya is because he's a ganav. The reason why we assur gambling is because when me and you make a bet, right, and we're putting money down, I don't really plan on losing the bet. Otherwise, I wouldn't make the bet. So therefore, when you win and you take my money, you're really stealing it from me because I didn't have the das to give it over to you, right? And that's the way we paskin. The Svardim, I don't see any way for Svardim to gamble. Ashkenazim, the Ramah has a heter. Right? The Ramah has a heter, but meaning if it's totally chance, let's say dice. So that he says that's total chance. You can't possibly know. You wouldn't put that money because you have no idea if you're going to get the right dice. But on something that requires knowledge, then the Rama would say that is gambling because you think you're more knowledgeable than your friend, and therefore you're going to be chayav, right? Meaning you're going to be chayav for stealing because the guy is not going to have in his mind to give it over, right? So that's a big shaila. The gambling on sports, is that knowledge or is that luck? I mean, how could you possibly know what's going to go on in a ball game? On the other hand, if you analyze and you know who plays well, then maybe that does work. Okay, but
where's Reb Aaron when we need him? You can gamble against the Mets that they're going to lose. So
yeah.
So insider trading is for sure a problem. You're saying?
Well, insider trading is I don't know. You're not
Isn't
getting
that against the law? Isn't that against the law? So wouldn't it be assur?
Yeah, but I don't know if that would possibly you for edus.
yeah, because if you speed, it's also against the law.
No, that's a whole different story. But stealing, it's ganavim is possible. Either way, but these things are possible.
Why is it kasha? Why can't he be chaylik on Rabbi bar Yaakov? Why is it a kasha? Because Rabbi bar Yaakov's being medayik in a certain way. Rav Papa learned it up a different way. If you learn like Rav Papa, is it a kasha of Yesh Lakish? It's lemute melech.
No,
Why is it
you're saying
assumed that
the-
Reish Lakish has to hold like a Rabbi Yaakov? It's only a kasha if you're going with the Rabbi Yaakov touch up of the Mirtimai.
Right, I hear. That's a good question. Meaning is an Amara, so why not be disagree with
Yeah,
the
so what's the
Amara?
big deal? This is one of his big
Right.
shitas and shas. I'm saying.
Right. I hear. I don't know, Taka. I don't know. Especially if you have a different Amara that says different shot that it'll
Right,
work.
that's
with.
what I'm saying. Imam is right here. There's a different. Rav Papa says
Yeah.
differently.
That's a good question. I hear. Good order. Good order. But anyway, so what's the kasha? But Masacha b'kubi midiraisa michsi chazi. Masacha b'kubi midiraisa is perfectly fine. For Rabbanan who the baslu and the Rabbanan are the one that made it possible. V'loi kochayli alei shvua. And you see that they're not chayav a shvua, right? Even though it's only the Rabbanan. So therefore, it's not going to help us to differentiate between the Rabbanan and the Raisa. So our answer, Shani Hasam, there's different. Damar Kra, Im lo yagid, says if he's not gonna say edus, v'hai la baragodahu klal, and this guy is not even included in the Haggadah, not in the Haggadah for Pesach, meaning he's not in the laws of saying things over at all. So therefore, he's not in the shua at all. But by us, where he's saying if something was a chatzi shir, so then that is going to be included. Yeah. Okay. So now back to the original question of do we say a lashon assur by chorus? So Gemara says v'cholech the tani onish chorus like tani assur. The Gemara's assumption is that when something's chayav chorus, you wouldn't say assur, right? But Tanya, we learned in the Braisa, Afal Pisha Amru Asur B'Kulon, even though we said that everything is Asur, meaning all these things that the whole list that the Mishnah says is also Yom Kippur, Lo Yamru Anash Koros. We only said Anash Koros if you eat, drink, and do malacha. The other things are not Anash Koros, right? So you see that the word Asur does work with Koros. So what was the Gemara's kasha? That why does the Mishnah use a lashon assur? It could use a lashon assur with chorus. So hachikam kasha amru assur lo yamru ela kachatzi shir. When did they say assur? They only said it's assur if you're eating a chatzi shir. Aval kashir, but if you do a shir, onish chorus. Chorus, I'm sorry. Aval pisha onish chorus, even though it is a einish of chorus, ain't onish chorus ela oicha v'shoyis of oisa malacha b'vad. Oh, that's only if he eats and he drinks and he does malacha b'vad. So meaning. It's the lashon assur is only going on the chorus. Or another pshat. Kikatani assur ashara. When does it say assur? That's going on the other isur, meaning on nilas sandal and tashra shamita and sicha. The tanu, Rabbi Yosef b'shar sifri devei Rav. Rabbi Yosef said in other svarim of Beirav, which is interesting what it's called. What do you mean b'shar sifri devei Rav? Because we have Sifra and you have Torah's Kayanim. There's two different midrashim that we call midrashim on Chumash. You have the Torah's Kayanim. There's really three, Sifra for Sifri. So he wants to make sure that it's not Torah's Kayanim, right? And it's referring to the Sifri, which is on Sifra, I'm sorry, is on Torah's Kayanim and Sifra are on Vayikra, right? And then you have Mechilta, which is on Shemais, and you have Sifri, which is on Bamidbar and Devarim, right? Sifri is Bamidbar. Mechilta is Shemais, Torah's Kayanim and Sifra is Vayikra, and Sifri is Bamidbar. So he wants to let us know that it's talking about those other Lashons, the other Svarim. How do you know that Yom Kippur is assur in rechitza and in anointing and putting on shoes and relations? It says Shabbosayin, which means shvais, that you have to have some sort of resting. So rest from these things. Okay, which we'll see exactly later on, hopefully, how this works. That what is shvais? How does it tell you that these things are the things that you're not supposed to do? Yeah, fine. So gufa, chatzi shir. So now we're going back to the chatzi shir. Major machlokes right here. I mean, we know the Machlokes Chatzi Shir, but there's a ton and ton of lamdas on these lines of the Gemara. Pretty much every major sefer in the history of Klal Yisrael weighs in on exactly how this works. So Gufa Chatzi Shir, so half a shir. Rav Yochanan Amar Osam and Torah, right? Like we learned, it's Osam and Torah. Chatzi Shir, meaning a half of a measurement. By the way, half is lav dafka. Even a smallest bit is awesome, right? Chatzi shir, Rav Yochanan Amar awesome in a Torah, Rish Lakish Amar mutam in a Torah. Rish Lakish says mutam in a Torah. Rav Yochanan Amar awesome in a Torah. Rav Yochanan says it's awesome in a Torah. Given the chazil, it's the rufe. Since you can combine them, meaning, let's say I eat a half a shir on Yom Kippur, and I say, oh, half a shir, I'm fine. But then 5 minutes later, I need another half a shir. So now I ate a whole shir. So since it's possible that you're going to combine them, so therefore it's awesome.
What does that mean? Even the littlest bit, meaning at a certain point, would you consider that a chila even?
I guess it has
so
to be
minute
something.
That's what I'm saying. Like, shouldn't the fact that it's so small take away from the whole that it's chal shem achila on it? Like, how small down do you go that you could be machshav that in achila?
I mean, would you make a brach? Would you make a brach on it before you ate?
Now he's getting into the whole bug shiloh in the water.
Bracha Rishona, you would.
No, I'm not saying microscopic. I'm saying stuff that we could see with our eye, but it's really, really small. Why is that? Even that stuff shouldn't be a shir achila. It's tiny. You take a little bit of a piece of bread and you put it in your mouth. That's an achila?
No, but it's going to combine. Eventually, it'll combine. You keep doing that, it's going to combine to an issa.
My point is that if every single one is not a shir achila, or you can't even look at it as a shir achila, why should it combine at all? Every single one is chal nothing.
Didn't we have this in brachas about the 2 lines in Shabbos?
What do you mean?
Similar concept? No, about being Michal Shabbos 2 lines, or writing 2 lines, or am I confusing?
Right? No. Yes. It's the same sugya. It's the same sugya. It ties into Chatzi Shir. No, I'm pretty sure that's what it related to.
Well, yeah, but so what? But it's Chatzi Shir is lav dafka Chatzi. That's the point.
I know. That's my point. I'm saying if it's lav dafka Chatzi, it could go down to such a minute level that it's not chal even. Like he said, ksiva. If you scratch something, that's not ksiva. That's nothing.
I hear. I don't know.
Does it require kavana?
I don't think so. I think we just answer it straight. Either way.
Meaning, to make it even look like a shem achila, shouldn't it require some level of kavana?
I would think. Yeah. I don't know. So anyway, so we're saying that they do combine. Yeah. So that's the Rabbi Yochanan's pshat, is that it's chazil, it's the rufe, because and then it's going to be an issa that you're going to be eating. Machlokes Amar mutar min haTorah. Machlokes says it's mutar. Achila Amar Rachmana v'leka. The Torah says you have to have an achila. Like it's a sort of akiva what you're saying. Achila Amar Rachmana v'leka. You don't have an achila here. Bottom line is it's a half good. You may eat an achila later and it might combine, but the bottom line is right now it's not an achila. Fine. So Asur Yochanan and Rish Lakish. So Rabbi Yochanan asked the kasha to Rish Lakish. Ainly elo kol sheyesh ba'inish yesh ba'azhara. So we know that there's a rule that when you have every punishment in the Torah needs a passuk to tell you the punishment and a passuk to tell you what not to do, right? Meaning don't do A, B, C, and if you do A, B, C, you're going to get punished. We need 2 separate pasukim. So azhara is the passuk that tells you not to do it, and einish tells you the punishment for doing it. Yeah. So this is only telling you that if you have chaylev, we're talking about chaylev now of a chaya, right? So chaylev of a chaya is you're not allowed to eat a chaylev of a chaya, right? But a behema, I'm sorry, it's the opposite, right? A behema, right? Yeah, behema, yes. Yeah, it's only a chaylev of a behema you're not allowed. Chaylev of a chaya is. But anyways, it says ainly ala kol sheyesh ba'inish yesh b'azhara. That only tells you if you're in the einish, then you have the asara too. But how about a koi or a kfi? It's a big controversy We had it a while ago, right? Koi or kvi. Is it some sort of? It's a safek whether it's a behema or a chaya, right? So so we don't know what to do with it. So koi v'chati shir. What happens if you eat a koi or a half a measurement of chayla? Since it's not, there's no punishment for it because it's only awesome in a Torah. There's no punishment. So you might think that it's not assur either. So it says kol chaylev, all chaylev. All chaylev tells you even chatzi shir and even a koi, right? So whatever. So what do you see from this? Right? You see that chatzi shir is also in a Torah because the passuk kol chaylev is coming to tell you any amount of fat, even a half a measurement of fat is assur. So now Reish Lakish says he answered midirabanan. It's really only midirabanan. The cross asmachta ba'alma, and the passuk is just an asmachta. Asmachta means that it's really also midirabanan, and we just lean it on a passuk that it says in the Torah. Okay, so whatever it is, it's a strong dirabanan. So now we have chatzi shir, we have Rabbi Yochanan holds chatzi shir is also in the Torah, and when you have Reish Lakish holds it's also midirabanan, but it's a kra, there's a passuk that's an asmachta. So when it says hachanam yistaver, that makes sense. These are kedai for deraisa is if you say that it's a deraisa koi sveikahu, is a koi a safek, which Rashi on Amud Beis says, is there such a thing as a safek to Hashem? That Hashem would be telling you a passuk that a koi is assur? It's rekol asuye safek. Do you need a passuk to tell you that there's to include a safek? Right. So the Gemara answers says that's not a raya. Imishum ha lo yirya. That's not a raya. Because Savri on Amud Beis, because we hold koi beria b'fnei atzmihi. A koi is its own beria, right? So since it's its own beria, therefore you need to have a passuk to include it. Because if you say a koi is not its own beria, this is Rav Idi Baravan said, af kol lasuye koi, that even kol comes to include koi. This is talking about the assur of dam, that you're not allowed to eat or drink the dam of animals. So what about the dam of a koi? So Rav Idi Baravan says that it's the kol is coming to include even the koi. So koi sfeiku is the koi of safek. It's rekra. No, I'm sorry. Koi sfeiku is a koi of safek. It's rekra l'ruya sfeika. Do you need the Torah? I'm sorry, I keep reading it wrong. It's rekra l'ruya sfeika. Do you need the Torah to include a sfeika? Right. Rashi says the top line says kamei shemaya sfeiku. Hashem knows what the truth is. Right? Elaberia must be, it's its own creation. That's why we needed to include it. Shani Ochanami Beria, Elaberia Shani here, Beria is different. Ochanami Beria Shani, so too, by us, when we're trying to include it for fats, then it's also it's its own Beria. That's why you need a passuk to tell it to you. But really, it's the chaylev, not chaylev, the chatzi shir is asmachta ba'alma. Fine. So Tana Rabbanon learned Ta'anu now new subject. Ta'anu is nafshei seichem.
Wait,
yeah.
Lamaskana here, is this a Machlokes Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish whether a koi is a beria b'fnei atzma or a safek? Is that what we're saying? Lamaskana over here, is this a Machlokes Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish whether a koi is a safek behemar chaya or a beria b'fnei atzma? Rabbi Yochanan has to learn it's a beria b'fnei atzma, otherwise the brayso doesn't start.
Correct.
Reish Lakish is learning Lamaskana that it's a safek or it's the beria?
Reish Lakish is learning.
I mean, throughout Shas we say it's a safek. Here we have
right.
Rabbi Yochanan says clearly it's a beria b'fnei atzma.
You can go either way, no?
So we pass like Reish Lakish here?
I don't know how we pass him. I don't know. What's the negate to what?
No, all over Shas you have the koi, it's a safek.
Right.
Here we have l'chayra, it's Machlokes Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish, whether it's a safek or a beria. And Rabbi Yochanan is the one who holds it's a beria.
Yeah.
And we pass like not like Rabbi Yochanan somehow.
I'm not sure.
Save it for your drasha and shul.
I thought you weren't here when.
Chazara, don't worry.
Tana Rabbana, yeah, very good. So Tana Rabbana learned like a new subject. Ta'anu is nafshei seichen. So you're supposed to cause yourself pain on Yom Kippur. Yochel yeshe b'chama. Okay, so now you get. You can imagine from a guy decides, you know what, he's got a new way to cause pain on Yom Kippur. He's going to sit in the sun. So Yochel yeshe b'chama betzina kadesh yitzar, sit in the sun or sit in the cold in order to have tzar. Tamaloymer b'cham malacha loisasu. Don't do any melacha. Ma melacha sheva al tasa. Just like melacha is sheva al tasa, af inu nefesh sheva al tasa. Meaning melacha on Shabbos is not telling you to get up and do anything. Just don't do melacha, right? So inu nefesh is also sheva al tasa. So Gemara says, okay, but let's say you're sitting in the sun on Yom Kippur and it's hot. So sheva al tasa, keep sitting in the sun. Don't tell him to go sit in the shade. If he's sitting in the shade and it gets cold, so if it's Yom Kippur, don't move. Get up and sit in the sun. So Gemara answers, meaning again, the Gemara says, don't proactively go cause yourself pain. Fine. So Gemara says, okay, what happens if you already have pain? Maybe don't change it. So it says, also, dumi the malacha. Ma malacha lo yichalakta ba. Just like a malacha, there's no difference, right? You don't differentiate between whether you're actively doing it, you're not actively doing it. Afinu lo yisachlik, but you don't differentiate. Fine. Now we have a long brisa here. Tanya either. You have another brisa. Tanu is not sheseichem, right? You should cause yourself pain. Yochol. So you would think you should sit in the hot and the cold and you would start. Don't do malacha. My malacha davar shechayav. Just like malacha is talking about something where you're chayav someplace else, meaning you're chayav chorus for Shabbos for doing malacha. Av inu nefesh shechayav b'makom acher. So too inui, in order to be chayav for inui, has to have chorus someplace else. And which would that be? Which one that be? Pigul v'noisa. That's pigul and noisa, where you chayav. Remember, we said pigul is if you have in mind that when you're shechting the korban, that you're not going to eat it in the proper time or the proper place. And noisa is if you leave over. So those things are chayav koros. So avi pigul v'noisa she'ein b'koros. So therefore, I'm going to include pigul and noisa that you're not allowed to eat that on Yom Kippur. V'lo avi as a tevel. But I'm not going to bring tevel that's not chorus. You're not allowed to eat it, but it's not chorus. It says twice ta'anu, and inisa mishnasir seichem. Riba, that includes even tevel. So I'm going to take the next step. Avia tevel, shuba misa. So that will tell me that if you eat tevel that has misa, so you're chayav on Yom Kippur. If you eat nevela, you're not chayav misa. Nevela is unslaughtered meat. You're not chayav misa. Ta'anu, another double lashon of inui, twice to tell you that you riba, that it's coming to include even nevela. Now it says ta'anu v'nisam 5 separate times. That's what gives us the right to darshan each one. Meaning we're going down the list. First we're saying only foods that you chayav koros for, and then we're saying foods that you chayav misa for. Then we're saying even foods that you're not chayav. So we go down the line because it says ta'anu and nisam 5 separate times. So then Gemara says, okay, aviyas and avela shu b'lav. So it's going to bring an avela that's a lav. What about chulin? What happens if you eat just plain food on Yom Kippur? That there's no lav. Who says you chayav? Because it says again, ta'anu and nisam. Riba, and that comes to include even regular food. Okay, so so maybe only food that you're not mechuyev to eat. That's what you're chayav for Yom Kippur. Truma and I'm not going to bring truma, which is you have to get up and eat it. Riba, that includes even truma. So truma maybe I'll bring truma that there's no assur to leave over truma. You have as much time as you want to eat it. And maybe kodshim you're not going to be chayav for if you eat on Yom Kippur because there's nothing wrong with leaving it over. So it says ta'anu, and you should cause inui, which is coming to include even kodshim. And if you're going to want to say harehu oimer, it says vavadini as a nefesh, right? And I'm going to destroy that nefesh. Inui shu avedas a nefesh. That it's only inui that has to do with avedas a nefesh. Meaning, you're going to say maybe it means other types of inui. So we're saying no, inui is something that takes away from your nefesh, and eating and drinking, eating and drinking takes away your soul. I think the olam could agree to this, right? Take away eating, and you're taking away a little bit of piece of your soul out of the way. So what does it mean? V'im nafshach leimer. My v'im nafshach leimer. If you want, you could say. So if you say that maybe it's you take away arayas from, you took away arayas from the develop loves arayas. You take it away. That takes away a little bit of their heart. He says, I'm going to make that nefesh get lost. That's an inui that has in it the loss of a nefesh. That's only achila v'shasiyah. Here it says inui, and it says further on inui by the midbar. Inui ra'ava. There it means that they're hungry, meaning the midbar, when they were upset that they were going hungry, so it means hunger from food. Afkan ini rav, and so too the inu by Yom Kippur means hunger. So the Gemara asks, by Lavan, when Lavan was saying to Yaakov, you're going to cause pain to my daughters by not sleeping with them, so there inui means no relations. So Gemara says, rather done in inui derabim, the inui of the public from the inui of the public, meaning inui of Yom Kippur, learn out from the midbar, which is talking about everybody in Klal Yisrael. And don't don the inui of the public from an inui of the yachid, which was just Yaakov and Lavan. Okay, so then what it says, "V'neilach mi inui de Mitzrayim." Why don't we learn it out from the inui of Mitzrayim? And he saw our pain. V'amrinon zu precious derech eretz. Right, everybody knows this from the Haggadah. That means staying away from derech eretz, which is relations. So you see that inui here means relations. So Ella, so the Gemara, that's a good kasha. So Ella changes pshat. Ella done in inui b'dei shemayim, inui b'dei shemayim. We're going to learn out inui from shemayim, from inui that came from shemayim, right? Because the inui of Yom Kippur is done by shemayim, right? And the inui in Mitzrayim was also. Right? Vein done in ina b'dei shemayim, ina b'dei adam. We're not going to be done the inui of shemayim from ina b'dei adam, right? And because love and Mitzrayim was both from humans, right? But the hunger from the man that's an inui from shemayim. Fine. Now the Gemara is going to go off a little and discuss the man for a long time. So let's start a little bit. Right? So he gives you man in the midbar in order to cause you pain. Rabbi Ravasi say, Chad Amar Einoi Daime Mishi Yesh Lepas Basal, Mishi Ein Lepas Basal. It's not, you can't compare somebody who has bread in his basket to somebody who doesn't have bread in the basket. Meaning, because every day they have to go out and get new man. So it was not a lot of Yishuv Adas, not knowing every day if the next day they're gonna have any food. That's why that was pain that they had with the man.
Like the first week?
What do you say?
Wouldn't it be like for the first week, and once you see,
No, how do you know? Every day the Gemara is going to stay.
I mean, they didn't believe that Hashem was going to give them man.
I guess not. They didn't know when it's going to stop. Listen, they weren't. I know. Don't take this in the wrong way, but they weren't the greatest Baalei B'tachon, right? Every 2 days they were complaining, even with the Yetzias Mitzrayim and the Nisim and all that. Every 2 days, So clearly they didn't have that Yishuv Das for whatever reason and whatever the pshat in that is. Right?
But for 36 years, they didn't complain.
True. But
this is within the first year and a half.
Issues. Yeah,
within the first year and a half, they complained about everything.
Yeah, then at the end they also, but for the duration.
In the middle they had some calm. In the middle
they had a long run.
Yeah, that's I hear that. Yeah, fine. So let's see weiter. So that's one shot. Can't compare somebody who can see his food from somebody who can't see his food. Ayin parrots his pictures about the meat, right? Meaning, if you could see your food, right, then you have much more geschmack. If you can't see your food, then not, right? So, because Rashi says, what is that? The famous mun, right? Everybody knows that the mun tasted like whatever you wanted it to taste like, right? But if it doesn't look the look, then it don't go, right? Bottom line is, I give you the greatest steak flavored thing, and it comes in a wafer, and I tell you, by the way, this tastes exactly like the steak. It ain't gonna have the same.
The steak flavored potato chips.
Yeah, there you go. Right, very good. Right,
not a steak. Exactly. It's not a steak.
Right. That's also, remember when Heinz made the purple and the green ketchup, and it right? That totally flopped. Totally flopped.
I was just typing that.
What are you? Bad news if we're thinking alike. Okay.
It's almost like they try to make like meat nowadays. They try to like make it in the labs, and they try to make it as close to looking like meat as possible because they know otherwise it won't sell.
That's very good, Taka. That's a good order, right? Like the Beyond Meat. And
it has no more than that. They're actually trying to make real meat, and they try to make all the fat and everything. They try to like be midirabanan as much as possible. Real meat,
right? Taka. That's very good. Very good. Yeah. So Omar Rav Yosef, which is very interesting because Rav Yosef was blind. This is him saying over from personal experience. Omar Rav Yosef, Mikan remez l'sumin shaychlin vein svei, and from here it's a remez that blind people, they eat but they're not satisfied. Amar Abaye Hilkach man deisle sudasa. Therefore, somebody who has a suda loy lichle ele b'yamama. You should only eat it during the day so you can see what you're eating. Right? Because if you don't eat it during the day, then you're not going to have the kishma. Amar Rav Zera Ma'ikro, what's the passuk? Toiv mare einayim mehalach nefesh. It's better, seeing is better than the soul. Amar Reish Lakish. Now this next line is wild, and this is the reason why you have to have filtered internet, without a doubt. Amar Reish Lakish, Toiv mare einayim be'isha yosem mikufa shel ma'isa. It's more pleasurable to look at a woman than to even to have her physically. Right? It's better those that see with your eyes than the mahalach nefesh. Now, exactly how that works, I don't know, but that's the reason why shmiras einayim and filtered internet and all that is extremely important. Fine. If somebody puts his eyes on kois of wine, he goes in the straight ways. Right? So what does this mean? With a lot of Joshua say, with Ravami Ravasi have disagreements. Ravami Ravasi Chad Omar Kola Noisen Kola Amud Aleph. Now we'll do a little bit more. Kola Noisen Einoi the koisoi. Anybody who puts his eyes on his kois arayis. Kulan daimasel of kamisha. So then it comes arayis becomes to him like it's mutter, right? Meaning somebody who gets drunk, so he forgets himself and he thinks he could sleep with anybody he wants. If you put your eyes on a kois and you drink, then the whole world, you think that the whole world belongs to you. And like Rashi says, everybody else's money seems to be yours too, and you have no problem stealing. Fine. Daiga belev ish gishchena, right? When there's daiga in a person's heart, then smash it. Ravami Ravasi also have a machlokes. Chadam yishchena midaitoi, right? Take it out from your das. Meaning, if you're worried, just try not to worry. He was way ahead of it. This is the classic Machlokes of whether therapists are a good thing or a bad thing. Right? One says, just you have bad, crazy thoughts, get it out of you, just squash it. And the other one says, no, you should go discuss it. Go talk it out.
I don't understand the first side. Like everyone knows, if you tell somebody not to think about a white elephant, they'll think about a white elephant.
Right.
The whole point, he's not giving you advice. He's just telling you do it. How's that advice? What's he telling you? You should destroy it.
I think
when a person has a fear, they can't.
Right.
They
so
can't get rid of it.
What it's telling you.
I'm telling you, don't think about the white elephant. You tell him I'm thinking about a white elephant. So you say, okay, stop thinking about the white elephant.
How's that advice?
Good advice. What do you mean?
You're not saying anything. It's not the real advice. At least with the other sheet that they're saying, talk it out, and through that you'll be able. It'll dissipate. It'll go away. He's telling you just don't worry about it.
Yeah, he's basically telling you don't be an idiot.
How do you destroy it?
If you talk it out, you make it into a reality. So maybe that's even more difficult.
Yeah, but people they live in their heads. I'm saying they can't get rid of their worries and fears.
One, you're acknowledging it. The other one, you're telling him forget about it.
Go out from here, right?
I think it means knock it out with something else.
Maybe with that cup of wine.
Whatever.
I don't know. Maybe it doesn't mean distract yourself.
Yeah, something like that. Think about something else.
Yes. I don't know.
Listen, I tell you, when I came back the day after Shiva for my father, I sat down and couldn't learn a word. I didn't have my head. I came back broken. I went over to Rosh Kyle and said, Rabbi, I need some chizuk. I can't do it. I just can't. He turns to me and says, you got to learn. That was it. That's exactly what I came here for. For some it works, for some it doesn't.
Yeah, I hear. Interesting. Yeah. I guess you didn't need a therapist then. So, okay, you were able. I don't know.
It's funny. They actually bring down at the bottom Rashi, I think, in Mishlei, that says that the way to get rid of it is by learning Torah. That's about what they say.
So there you go. But the problem is, it ain't so easy to learn Torah. It's not so easy to learn Torah either.
Okay, but that's a longer discussion. That's not the Gemara is assuming you can learn.
Yeah. Very good. Okay, so let's see a little weiter. V'nochash offer lach. Nochash, dirt is its bread. Ravai Ravasi. Chad Omar afilu oichel kol ma'danei olam. Even if a snake would eat all the good things in the world, tayim behem tam offer. Everything is going to taste like dust to him. Chad Omar afilu oichel kol ma'danei olam. One says even if he eats all the good things in the world, ain't daitem yishevas alav acha yochel offer. He's still not going to be happy till he eats his dirt. Right, so that's two ways of learning exactly what the snake is eating dirt. Tanya, Amar Rav Yosi, Hashem is not like humans. Midas pasavadam maknit eschaveiroy. Right, if somebody has a problem with his friend, what he does is he goes down into his life, meaning he tries to take away his parnasa. Right? Kadosh Baruch Hu is not like that. He cursed the snake. But when the snake goes up to the roof, his food is always there because there's always dirt. Yarid Lamata, if he comes down, his mezainis is with him. So even though Hashem really punished him by giving him only dirt, but the dirt is always available to him. So the Mefarshim say on this, I think it's Ben Yoda says that anytime something's going wrong for somebody, there's always a silver lining from the Baruch Shalom. There's always going to be epis. He's not going to leave you hanging out to dry. There's always going to be something that you're going to gain, even from the tzara. Yeah, Kilul is Canaan, and the Gemara goes through a few more examples. He cursed Canaan to be slaves. But bottom line is his master feeds him. And he gets to drink what his master gives him to drink. Kilul is the Isha. Right? Hashem cursed women. Right? Hakol Ratzon Achareh. But everybody still goes after her. Right? Meaning as cursed as a woman is, the men are still running after the women. However you want to learn that one. Kila saw Adama. He cursed the ground, right? Meaning, this is talking about in Bereshis, when Hashem said that it should be eitz oisepri, and I'm sorry, eitz pri oisepri, right? The pri should make a pri, and the ground only did eitz oisepri. So Hashem got upset, so he cursed it, right? Because it's going to have thorns and all that. So I'll call nizayin in him, but the silver lining is that everything ultimately comes from the ground, right? Parrots' meat ain't coming if there's no grass for the animal to eat. He ain't getting his meat, right? Fine. Okay, I guess it's a new Gemara about the mun. So we'll stop over here. Okay, tomorrow what time, Aaron? What do we do? Let's try 10 to 6. It's a little longer daf. 10 to 6.
Yeah, Mincha 6:35 or 6:30, I think.
6:35.
Either
the
6:30
latest
or 6:35.
The latest Shabbos. It's the latest. Okay, so let's keep it 5:55.
And what's with
Don't
Sunday?
earlier.
Tiago,
What's
maybe
with Sunday?
Tiago, call it for 10-2, and then we'll start at 5:55.
Oh,
There you go.
It's like the biggest stuff in Yuma.
all
Well,
right.
he's
Go
next
ahead.
Well,
daf.
then you better find another place to do it.
That's great. Gershon, you stuck right into that one, man.
What's with Sunday?
Oh, Sunday.
Yeah.
Tiago, maybe
Hard to
Matzah Shabbos is
discuss.
going to be later. Matzah Shabbos is going to be later also, because Shabbos is over here 8 minutes later than in the city. So it probably won't start till at least 10:05.
Tiago, before you
10:10.
make Havdalah in camp, you know what time you're going to be finished there, my friend?
Well, let me tell you. Then I'll make Havdalah later, that's all.
You're the marital assur. You got to stick around there.
Yeah, the marital has yet to daven a minyan in the camp.
It just started a few hours ago. Give it time.
No, the staff has been there since yesterday. I said, you need me to daven there? I think they're Mayaya show me already.
Employee of the Year award goes to.
You're still being recorded.
It's okay.
What
Very
Sunday?
sad.
What do you call Sunday? I think the best time to do Sunday is between Mincha. For those who are going to daven Mincha early because it's Sunday, or we should do it the last half hour of the fast. I would think.
That's when
Or
I
we
have.
could do it
That's when I
Sunday
have
morning.
no
I don't
head.
care.
Sunday morning, I think
Maybe
it's better.
do 6:30, 7 o'clock.
AM?
Yeah, before Mincha. Before Mincha.
Yeah.